David and Simon Reuben are British businessmen and philanthropists. In the Forbes magazine list of billionaires 2013, ranking of the wealthiest people in the UK, the brothers were placed second. Early life and career. The brothers were born to a prosperous Iraqi Jewish family in Bombay, India, in the 40s. The family, which had lived in British India since the mid-1800s, emigrated to the UK in the early 1950s. Their extended family had run various businesses across the Indian subcontinent from their base in Bombay. The family arrived in London when the boys were teenagers, allowing them to be educated in British secondary schools. The brothers increased their fortune during the 1970s and 1980s in both metals trading and property. Nearly half their fortune is in liquid assets such as cash and bonds. They avoid publicity, but provide some details about their interests on their personal website. Metals business. In the early 1990s, the brothers invested in the Russian metals market, financing significantly the production and distribution of metals. The Reubens became the world's third biggest producer of aluminum. At its peak, their company, Trans World Metals, and its associates controlled 5% of the world's aluminum output. When Russian aluminum smelters were incapacitated by debt, Trans World entered into tolling arrangements with factories in which they paid for undelivered raw materials in return for finished aluminum, which it then sold for profit. The company's investment in Russia was $1.5 billion, with global sales in 1995 topping $8 billion. Due to their former status as Russia's biggest foreign investors, they are subjected to significant press scrutiny. During their 10 years in the country, the Reuben brothers did business with some unconventional characters. They also came across several members of the country's new oligarchy, including Roman Abramovich, now owner of Chelsea FC. Subsequently, they settled a multi-million-pound legal dispute with Oleg Deripaska, which resulted in a substantial settlement being awarded to Reuben brothers. In 2008, Reuben brothers returned to the metals business, acquiring the metal trading company, RB Metalloid, and formed a new dedicated natural resources platform, RB Resources. Reuben brothers have expanded their mining interests and have a portfolio of mines in Morocco, Indonesia and South Africa. Present activities. By 2000, the Russian business environment was turning sour for them and they sold all their Russian assets and focused their business activities mainly in the UK property market, where they have a substantial portfolio of debt-free assets. With others, they have been involved in financing a number of major acquisitions and also have investments in technology companies. As of 2013, their business activities mainly involved real estate both in the UK and abroad, venture capital, and private equity. Real estate. UK properties owned by Reuben brothers include Millbank Tower, the John Lewis Partnership headquarters in Victoria, the American Express offices also in Victoria, Carlton House SW1, Academy House on Sackville Street, Connaught House on Berkeley Square, Market Towers, Prime Sloane Street Shops, and Cambridge House, the former premises of the Naval and Military Club, which comprises 6 freehold buildings which have a planning consent for a 6-star hotel and private members club. Unconfirmed rumours state that the mansion complex will be reconverted into a private residence, as it was when Prime Minister 3rd Viscount Palmerston lived there. Other investments and developments include Merchant Square, a £1,800,000 SQAFT development scheme of offices and flats, key to the regeneration of the Paddington area of London, Park Plaza Hotels and Resorts, 50/50 joint venture in a new apart hotel under the Artotle brand in Oxton, City of London, Hampton House, demolition and redevelopment of the 1960s office block opposite Tate Britain. Designed by Foster and Partners, the project features a mix of apartments and an apart hotel on the River Thames next to the Riverbank Park Plaza Hotel, airports, London Oxford Airport, London Heathrow Port, Aldergate Investments Viaduct. Both companies, the Reuben brothers, continue to be one of the largest investors in luxury leisure group Orient Express hotels. Other holdings include hotels. The company owns significant interest or co-interests in the hotel sector, covering Orient Express hotels and Travelodge hotels, retail, co-investors of D2 Jeans and Blue Incorporated clothing retailers, with retail guru Sir Stuart Rose, banking, investors in both LUUP and Metro Bank, the Wellington Pub Company, the largest free-of-tie pub estate in the UK with approximately 850 tenanted pubs, Global Switch, the largest wholesale carrier-neutral data center provider in Europe and the Asia-Pacific region, horse racing, Arena Leisure and Northern Racing merged forming ARC, which represents 40% of UK fixtures and a 45% stake in at the races, the broadcaster taking UK and Irish racing to domestic and international audience, personal. The Reuben brothers guard their privacy. Simon, 3 years younger than his brother David, has given only one interview to a British publication in his entire career, and that was more a case of finding himself in a room with a journalist and having to make polite conversation. In 2005, they won the Variety Club Entrepreneurs of the Year award. Both are married with children, and both follow Chelsea FC. Footnotes. External links: David and Simon Reuben, profile in The Guardian, http, business.timeisonline.co 9064 to 2,220,021, html, http, www.thesizemoney.co York article html? In article it equals 409,816 and in page it equals 2, http, Money CNN Comfortune 200412 Index HTM, http, www.reubenbrothers.com/ Article 74.html, http, www.reubenbrothers.com/ Article 70.html, http, www.reubenbrothers.com/ Article 46.html, http, www.reubenbrothers.com/ Article 102.html